a lot of the time, and again, the same goes for dates, we feel like we have to focus on what we're saying and always making sure there's not these awkward silences and filling the gaps. And, whereas I think the best way to get to know people is just to let them talk and just listen, really listen intently. And when you're listening, asking those right follow-on questions that are not like the tick list questions that you've got in your head that you're already rehearsing, but as part of a natural conversation. So, for example, like if someone says to me, oh, I'm close to my family, then I'm like, I want to know more about that, right? I'm not going to jump to the next question and that's irrelevant to that topic, right? Because I just want to get to know about the things on my list. So it's kind of like, oh, so tell me more about your upbringing. Did you grow up with both your parents? And do you have siblings? And, do you have nieces and nephews? And how often do you see them? And do you take holidays together? In that kind of order. And, who are they married to now? What does their partners do for work? What did mum and dad do for work?
Are these the kind of questions people should be asking on the dating apps or...
Not on the apps. I think that it's better in person.
Right.
Personally, I don't think you should ask many questions on the dating app, actually. I think you should probably get to a phone call pretty quickly.
This is good advice.
So I think, again, because it's more of a natural flow, it's like when someone messages you and asks you a question, sometimes it can almost come across like inappropriate, maybe a little too intrusive. You can't really read the situation as to whether it's even... appropriate to ask the question. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like a lot of the time, I think when people are messaging on the apps, it's kind of all a bit, again, this sort of, you've got this list in your head. You want to ask these certain questions, but it doesn't make a person feel like they're really connecting with you when you're asking that way. So I think that when you have a phone call and you just have this nice, natural, free-flowing conversation and things come up, and then that person feels like, oh, I opened up about something in that moment and that felt good. And I felt like I formed a bit of emotional connection. But I don't think you get that same feeling when you just reply to a text on a dating app because someone fired 5 questions at you.
Right. How quickly do you think you should move from dating app to an actual date?
I think as soon as possible.
So if you match with someone, do you think it's okay to go out with them the day after?
Yeah, I do actually.
Really?
Yeah,
so you match with someone, you have a chat, and you're like, right, let's go for a drink tomorrow.
Absolutely. Why waste time backwards and forwards messaging? When you're meeting in a public place, right?
Okay.
Don't be inviting them to your house the next day, but or go to theirs, or go and get in their car. So it's all about, do you know what I mean? So it's all about obviously being safe.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason why someone is not in a hurry to meet someone, well, not the only, but the main reason is like, do you feel safe to meet that person? And also there's that thing of, oh, is it not worth my time because, they might not be my type of person.
Okay.
And that's why I think from a phone call, straight away, you hear that person's voice, within 5 minutes of speaking to them, if they're a bit weird or not, you do.
So if you were on an app, how soon would you ask to speak on the phone?
I'd say to them, hey, look, I'm just going on my lunch break. Do you want to give me a quick call in an hour? And, let's have a 5-minute chat.
Yeah.
And if we vibe, then let's meet for a drink.
Right.
Simple as that.
So just as simple as that, just do the small talk, how's your day going, whatever.
Yeah.
And then bam, let's talk on the phone.
You know what? Even that, how's your day going? Who likes getting that message?
Well, it's the thing there's a thing I saw on TikTok. It was stating in your 30s, like, what'd you do for work?
Yeah.
What's your interest? How's your day going? Like all that shit. But
do you really want to know?
Yeah,
how my
it's
day's
just,
going?
I think it's just people don't know what to say. So they're just saying anything just to kind of fill the silence.
That's it. It's that British politeness, isn't it? Where we ask certain questions, but we don't really want to know the answer. Like, hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah.
Right? Now, do you really want to know how I am?
Yeah, exactly.
Or is it, I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah.
It's always that automatic response, isn't it? It's all these little courtesies and politeness, but actually, there's no real depth to it. There's no real connection to it.
Right.
And I think that's what we need to be searching for more, digging for more, is more meaningful interactions with people, more quality conversations, deeper conversations, than all this surface level stuff that's getting us nowhere.